your side, who knows? But anyway, here we are again. So
yes, thank you for calling me back and allowing me a chance to finish.
No worries. It was very interesting. So I think you were
telling me,
you told me about your what had been the situation where your kids were going to get a lift and they got cancelled on, and you told me that you have a what's it called, a ride sharing license, which I didn't know existed, and also that you'd done 10,000 rides so far, which I considered pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Do you want to, since it's a new video and maybe someone may be joining us now who didn't see earlier, do you want to give a very brief run through? And
sure.
Please don't mind my parrot who's banging to get attention.
No worries. Yes, no worries. Yeah, let me just give you a brief overview. So we are a ride share solution. We're a comprehensive solution. We pair licensed drivers to embedded drivers to parents that need transportation for their kids. So we to and from school, to extracurricular activities. People like to think of us as the Uber or Lyft for kids, but I like to call ourselves the new school bus. And yeah, so right now primarily we're in San Diego. So what I was discussing with you before is that Lyft and Uber drivers are not legally allowed to transport minors. And I found this out because my middle schoolers' rides continue to get canceled. And I just felt like there had to be some solution out there that would transport kids. Well, I did some Google searching, and there was one company in San Francisco and one company in Los Angeles, but none existed in San Diego, and definitely none that serviced the whole nation. So I saw an opportunity, and thus Kiddie Commute was born. What I didn't know if parents wanted it. So what I did is I did old-fashioned business. I know right now in this new technological age, everyone builds the technology and then raises a lot of capital, not knowing if it's going to work. And I just, I came and I was like, let's just start doing rides first and see if parents will actually want this thing. So the first 2 years pretty much have been a proof of concept. We wanted to make sure that we could get parents on board. We have contracts with schools, with private schools. We have a government contract as well. So we wanted to see if we can get organizations, nonprofits, extracurricular service providers to actually buy into the product before we spent a whole lot of money into the technology, as well as that I didn't want it to be a bunch of iterations in the MVP before I built out something that was really going to be viable. So now we're at a position where we've grown way more quicker and spent very little marketing dollars. It's been mostly word of mouth. We have over 300 people on our wait list that we can't service at the moment. Translation, because our average ride is about $16, and that takes you up to 3 miles. So our average customer pays about $80 a week. So translation, those 300 customers, we're missing out on about a little over $90,000 a month in MRR that we could be capitalizing in, just because we don't have the capital. We've been bootstrapping, so everything we make just goes back into the company.
Can I pause you for a second and just ask, you said the average ride is $14?
It's $16.
$16, sorry. Yep.
$16,
and how does that compare with Lyft or something?
Well, for a 3 mile trip with Lyft or Uber, you're probably going to pay about $12, $13.
Not much more. That's really not much.
Not much more for the 0 to 3 miles. Anything after 3 miles is $1.50 per additional mile.
And how does that compare with Uber or Lyft, or is it not the same?
We're a little bit more expensive than Uber and Lyft when you think about the additional miles. It can add up. We have some customers that are paying about $25, $26 a trip.
But by a factor of what would you say? Like, is it 50% more expensive or 200% or what?
No, not by that much, about 15% higher.
Oh, it's nothing.
Yeah.
Parents don't care about that.
Well, yeah, some. We want to be affordable for all parents and all demographics, so some do.
You get that with scale, though, right?
Service. Yeah.
You'll get there with scale. If you get like every city in the world doing it, then you'll be able to make the price very low.
Exactly. That's the goal. Yeah.
Okay, so I cut you off in your flow. Please carry on.
Where was I at? I was. So we have the 300. No, that's fine. No, yeah, I actually like the interjection more so than the formal pitch. But yeah, we have 300 people on the wait list. Right now we've done about a little over $200,000 to date in revenue. As I said, everything goes back in. We don't have any investors, any equity investors at the moment. Right now, we're seeking $750,000, and that's at a $5 million valuation. The round closes at 1.5, so of course that would be 30%. If we could raise that amount, that would be awesome. And that's going to go into building out the platform. Definitely some money into marketing. This is definitely a marketing play. We need to get the word out to more parents. And then the cost of the drivers, because what I haven't talked to you about is how we vet the drivers. And that's the question that I get a lot, because we anybody in the car with our children. So if a driver comes to us, someone comes to us interested in driving, the first thing that we're going to do is have a in-person interview or a Skype interview with them, just so that we can make sure that they have a disposition to be around children. We're going to do a social security check through Checker. That's where all the rideshare companies use the same company, Checker, to do Uber, Lyft, all of them. Once they clear that, we'll send them off to get fingerprinted by the Department of Justice. Once those fingerprints clear, we send it to a company called Trustline, and Trustline is a constant monitoring of their fingerprints. So if they're ever in any contact with the police of any kind or arrested, Trustline is notified. Trustline notifies us, they go on immediate suspension. Luckily, we have never had to deal with that at the moment, but that's just a constant monitoring. We also do a motor vehicle record check, and we also monitor their motor vehicle record as well. So there's constant monitoring of that too, making sure there's no DUIs and speeding and things along those lines. They have 5 hours of behind the wheel and in-class training. So we want to make sure that they are safe behind the wheel as well. And then, of course, there's just ongoing training and things like that. So we like to look at our drivers as more than just drivers. They become safety ambassadors for the company. Right now, we have about 15 drivers. We have maybe about 25 in the queue. Of course, with all those checks, there's a cost to it. So our cost to clear drivers about $125, which is quite expensive at this moment. Our goal is to get that Trustline cost down. And to gain the clearances where we can be our own trust line. So that's a long-term play, to be our own trust line. And then, of course, that's only something that's available in California. We like to have that scaling and that extra check and balance for, drivers across the nation.
Yeah. Okay, a few questions popped to mind. So I hope you don't mind me just asking. The first thing is, that's a lot of work for a new driver to go through compared to just signing up on Lyft or Uber or something. So what makes it worth it for them? Why do they want to do that?
Well, our drivers are paid anywhere from $15 to $17. Some of our drivers are actually Uber and Lyft drivers. The thing about it is that children have schedules. So, of course, they need pickups in the morning, some early release days, so sometimes in the middle of the day, and then, of course, early afternoon. And because of that, the Uber and Lyft drivers like the fact that they are able to have a schedule. So even Grubhub drivers and all those, they have a schedule. They have money that they can rely on, and then they do their pickups in between. So that's how we fit in. It's not something that is going to replace Uber and Lyft income. It's going to add into it. So that's why a lot of our drivers come to us, and they really like the way that they can just pre-schedule for 2 weeks and know how much they're going to be getting and earning.
I suppose also there's less competition in a way for them. If you get big, then it's gonna be a market that certain people can't access. So that's kind of cool. The second question I think is the big one, which is self-driving cars.
Oh, okay. Yeah. How are we going to interface with that?
Well, okay. The first question, the two questions then. The first part is, how are you going to interface with it? The second part is, does a self-driving car take away the risk of the bad driver that may be on Uber or whatever? And I guess the third question. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is 2 points. One is like, are you going to do anything with self-driving cars? The second part is, Are self-driving cars going to replace you?
No, and the reason why is because simply parents aren't going to be comfortable with putting their children in the self-driving cars without there actually being a driver. So will we interface with self-driving cars? Sure, because of course they'll be safer for us. It minimizes our risk, but we will still have a driver in the car that's able to take that wheel if need be, and that's going to be more of a selling point to the parents, and that's what the parents are going to respond to, because I'm a parent, you're a parent, and we're not going to be trusting those self-driving cars for quite some time.
That's true. But I don't know if I would need... Well, I don't know if... Okay, so I don't know how quickly I'll trust self-driving cars. I tend to adopt things early that can put me in ruin, you know? And like it's almost habitual. So it's like I like technology. I do like it a lot, and I think I probably will be an early adopter of self-driving car stuff when it really becomes safe. I'm not going to be the crash test dummy, but
right.
But I think that for me, I would say that probably the driver and adult accompaniment might be separable, meaning like I trust the self-driving car to drive, but the risk is that someone, you know, abducts the child at the entry or exit point of the car, I suppose. So you'd want adult supervision to be involved somehow. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same as the driver. I guess this is like, okay, this is probably a few years out, although it could be next year if Tesla gets their way, right?
Right.
But it probably is a few years out. And this speaks to why you need a lot of money quickly, right?
Yes.
You need a lot of money.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, with that in mind, I don't really have like anything concrete as far as like as far as a feeling about what's going to be the result there. And I think we're just kind of waving our fingers in the air when we think about what Uber's going to do about that stuff. So let's skip that.
Can I respond to that real fast?
Yeah.
There's another aspect that we add, which is and I tell my drivers all the time, we're stand-ins, because as parents, we would prefer to pick up our own students, our own kids, and say, how was your day? What have you learned? Self-driving car isn't going to replace that. It's going to be very robotic. So an actual person would, you know, how was your day? You know, how was school? Did you learn anything new? Things like that. These are the types of extra add-ins that we have here at Kiddie Commute. So they won't be able to, you know, interface with that as well. And to answer your question about Uber, I actually went to a conference and I met with the president of Uber Fleet. And because I get that question all the time, why won't Uber just, you know, do the same thing we're doing? So just to answer that, I asked her, I said, you know, I get this question all the time. Can you give me an answer why you all wouldn't do that? And her answer was that for them, it's kind of niche, even though 74 million school-age children and 20 million are already paying for childcare and after-school activities, which is our, you know, target market. But she said that they're looking into, you know, they have their fleet that they just launched, but they're looking into airplanes and things like that. So they're looking for the next thing. Versus for them to cycle back and clear a bunch of drivers to transport children. That's not necessarily the niche that they want to go into. We do want to go through eventually a rebranding, and the rebrand will have us also servicing elderly and those with special needs as well. We want to be the rideshare service that caters to all your family members who need special care, whether it be children, elderly, or those with special needs.
So it's the loving, friendly, kind rideshare service with the human face.
Exactly.
Okay, that's cool. I like that. Okay. So how are you? You said you got contracts with schools and stuff like that. That's awesome. But you're trying to build an app. You don't have an app, right? So like, is there how are people organizing? They just call you, or they text you, or what?
No, well, we do have a registration on our website, so they fill out the registration form. We contact them with a quote. Once they agree to the quote, we set them up on a subscription. It's either through Stripe or PayPal, and the subscriptions run for 12 weeks, just because kids' schedules are ever changing. So we keep them for 12 weeks, and they're able to renew once the subscription is over. It's just so that we can check back with them. But everything's manual. So we are using a white label right now. It's more of a logistics app. So it kind of, what it does is that we load all the rides there, and it does go to a driver app. So the drivers do have an app. It's not like we don't have a consumer facing app. So we do have all the specifications mapped out. We have partnered with a company, so we do have a development group that is locked and loaded. With the investment, we can go ahead and pull the trigger.
Okay, and that investment again was $750,000 that you're looking for, right? Is that, do I recall correctly?
Yes, and $750,000. Yes, $750,000 would take us 12 months. We definitely would be looking at the 1.5, because of course that would take us a little bit longer out. And then we also can go ahead and move into the Riverside area and also the Bay Area with that. Our insurance policy allows us to scale anywhere in California under the same blanket policy. So we could literally scale all throughout California with our same insurance, and it covers an unlimited amount of drivers.
And 750,000 buys what? Sorry. I wasn't writing these things down. I'm committing them to memory, so I'm just a few things are sliding off a little bit. But...
Sure. No, what was the question?
Well, 750,000 invested buys what of the company?
Oh, 15%. We're at a $5 million valuation.
Right.
But of course, that's negotiable.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I do understand that we're early stage, so with the right strategic investor, we are looking and willing to. We just really want to get this out there to a lot of people and make it available. And we have women all across. We've done definitely some data research. We get women across the country who want to franchise. Not sure if I'm going down that animal.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Well, I don't know either, but it's nice to have the interest, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know how you make it work, but it's probably possible, and regardless, people obviously like the business, so that's great. Okay. I don't think I have any other questions that come to mind right now, but what I would like to do is, if it's all right with you, is I guess you have contacts with probably Diani, or you've spoken to someone on the Pitch Investors Live team, Diana, someone.
Yes.
And Diani, yeah, great. She's wonderful. I think she's watching, so it's probably a good idea I say that.
I missed you. You were breaking up. What was the last thing you said?
I was saying Diani's wonderful, but then I said that it's because she's watching. No, but she really is wonderful. So
yeah.
So no, but if you could send just whatever information you have for investors to Diani, if you haven't already, and if you have, maybe she can just send it to me.
Sure. What would you want? It was breaking up. It was breaking up. What did you want me to send? The pitch deck?
If you have a pitch deck, if you have other information that you'd like to share, I don't know what you have, but sometimes people don't have everything they feel they need. Just whatever you feel like you'd want to share. If you share it with Diani, she'll pass it on to me. We talk every day, and perfect. I don't know where I stand with this. I mean, it's really cool, and I think it's a needed service. But I would definitely like to keep them open-minded, just think about it, and probably run it by a few other people as well, if it's okay with you.
That's perfect.
Cool.
And I'm welcome. Other questions or follow-up. Definitely, I'm open to that. And I do have a pitch deck. I'll send the pitch deck and the executive summary to her, but I do have all my due diligence material prepared.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, yeah, it was a real pleasure to meet you, and
thank you.
We'll talk again. It's if nothing else, I'm very experienced with the technology stuff, and maybe if you're working with someone else, I'd be happy to help you. I don't know, figure out some of that stuff. Whatever, I don't know. However, I can be useful.
Sure.
Because it seems like a
great. Thank you.
So we'll talk again.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.
I appreciate it. Bye-bye.